just here in the autograph hall, and this line is for Roger Clark.
Roger Clark.
I would say welcome to Dublin, but it's not your first time here, I assume.
No, it's been a while though. It's been like, hello everyone, by the way, thank you so much. Cheers. I've been here for about 7.5 years. I can't believe all that extra bit to O'Connell Street now. It's mad. It's a lot more crowded than it used to be too. Although I don't remember coming here in the summer that often. So yeah, there's loads of tourists. And then I suddenly realized yesterday, hang on, I'm one of them as well. Thank you everyone, it's great to see you. Yeah, early 90s I came over. I'm a plastic paddy, as you say. I was born in Jersey, but my mother was from Sligo. She was from Ballymote, and she met my dad in New York back in the 70s. And I would come back and forth. We would spend our summers here. And then at the age of 12, I came over and did secondary school.
It must have been a bit of a shock going
from
Jersey.
But when you're 12, you don't realize, I guess, you know, I didn't really register how much of a shock it was going to be, so maybe it was the best age, you know. But one thing that did happen was I got rid of my accent pretty quickly, because I didn't want to be pointed out for it at school. They're like, who's the Yank sat beside you? So I got the brogue quite quickly, and then as soon as I left Ireland, then a lot of America seeped back in. So, because when I'm over there, they think I'm Irish, and now when I'm here, people think I'm American. So it's great to be back, and I get to show my wife and kids, you know, where I lived, and to show them, you know, where they're kind of from as well, you know. Get to show them some of my family and where I grew up and whatnot. It's really emotional to come back here and then to have seen the support from you guys all out there in the other room, and it blows my mind. I really, really appreciate it. I never imagined. You know, I worked on Red Dead for 5 years. I started August of 2013, and although they had been working on it, like development-wise and design-wise, even before that. So for 5 years on a project, and when it finally finishes, then to see how the public reacted to it, because I had big shoes to fill. You know, everybody loved John Marston is awesome, you know. And even I loved Red Dead. Before I even got this job, I was a big, huge Red Dead fan. You know, people call us voice actors a lot, which I have no problem with. I am a voice actor, and I'm very proud to be one. It's very challenging in a way. Voice acting is even more difficult, because you only get one tool at your disposal to create a character. But performance capture is not that different from film or TV, except you're wearing spandex with balls on it. You got it, yeah. And back in the day, you'd have balls on your face, but now most people, they incorporate an HD camera. So video games isn't going anywhere, that's for sure. And theater's where it's at. And to be honest with you, I would say that performance capture and theater have more in common with each other than performance capture and voice acting does. The only difference is in theater, you know, you're performing, your audience is right there, so you can tell immediately what works and what doesn't. There's no filter between you and your audience, you know? Whereas in performance capture, there's loads of filters. You have the director, you have the editor, you have, and now, as opposed to film, you also have the animator. So, you know, they were instrumental in what I did on Red Dead, because they were the ones who told me what sort of environment Arthur was actually going to be in when he was. So I would go in and we'd do a scene, and I'd be like, so is this day or night, or is the weather raining? And then I'd go, well, come on, we'll show you. And then they'd bring me to a monitor, and then I'd see in-game the setting where we were. Because in the studio, we would have a set, but it was just pipes and scaffolding. So it would be dimensionally accurate, but you didn't know what it looked like. And that's when the animator would bring me in, so, okay, so this is where Arthur is, and he's going to be going through that door, which is that door there, and I'd look at the two things and they're completely different. But that's where it really helped to inform the performance. You got to think about the details, you know, like if Arthur was picking up some old cringy map, it's a clean piece of paper in the studio, so then you have to, that's where you think, okay, you wipe your hands afterwards, as you would, even though it's clean. Because you have to think of these, try and get the authenticity, you know, and the details, which Rockstar Games is just. So the first audition, I guess that's where to start. That's when they said, wear cowboy boots, and we're looking for a Western accent. And this time I didn't even know it was Rockstar Games. It was advertised as Take-Two Interactive. And I Googled them, and obviously I knew they owned Rockstar, but they owned a few other studios too, so I wasn't sure. And I had done performance capture before, so I walked into it knowing a little bit, but nothing compared to what we would learn. I started to develop this kind of subconscious relationship with the writers, so they would see where Arthur's strengths and weaknesses were, and they would write accordingly as the months and years went by. And so we got this really good relationship going, and most of all it was a relationship of trust, where if they would do something, and I was like, I wonder why, oh, why are you doing that? And they were, well, we think it was because of this scene and this scene and this scene. And I went, oh, great. And then it was vice versa. If I had an idea, I knew that they would trust me enough to listen, and then they would either go, no, Raj, that's terrible. Or they'd go, yeah, that's fantastic. Why didn't we think of that? You know? That'd be pretty cool playing as Hosea or Dutch. Or, you know, at the beginning of Red Dead 2, you hear about the Calendar Boys, Mac and Dave, you know. Maybe it could be one of those two guys. I don't know. I mean, I can't honestly comment about the future of Red Dead because I just don't know. And if I did know, I wouldn't tell you. That's the best and most honest answer I could give you. But based on the success of it, you know, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I mean, the Red Dead 2 is still going on strong, especially with the online component, you know. But yeah, seeing the gang in its heyday and its real strength and prime, that would be really interesting. I'd love to see more about the story between Dutch and Colm O'Driscoll, you know, because you hear about Colm killing Dutch's girl and then Dutch killed Colm's brother, and that would be interesting too. And then you'd see maybe perhaps a more immature, younger version of Arthur, who knows? Yeah. That mission was done very differently from a lot of the other missions because it was so frenetic, and the way it was edited, you know, it just went from one thing straight to another, you know, because they tried to simulate the whole drunken behavior type thing. So I remember doing it was kind of crazy. Me and Aaron Atkins, who played Lenny, we were doing the can 1 minute, and then like, okay, now you gotta run over and now start smacking each other in the face as much as you can. And then they did say, oh yeah, any ideas you've got, you know? And I remember we invented that toast. There was the gang toast where you cheer each other and then hit the table and stuff. That was done by us. And jumping around. And You'll Never Take Me Alive, I think, might have been my line. I'm not sure. But it was a lot of fun to do, and I had no idea that it was going to come out like that. It's funny too, because there was another drinking mission that we did that got cut. It was between Arthur and Karen, which was a lot of fun. And I did it with Joe Armanox, but it didn't make the game in the end. You know, as you just got to cut some stuff. But I did not expect that to be as popular as it turned out to be. But it's a very fun mission to do. And that one part where everyone's Lenny in the bar, that just blew my mind away. It reminded me of, what was Apex Twin video? Yeah, was that right? Is it Apex Twin back in the 90s? The guy, the freaky, who did the freaky music videos? Yeah, and everyone looked the same. Yeah, it reminded me of that.
It's not really something associated with a Western.
No. I really like, you smell like your shit took a shit. Some of the way he slags off people is great. Although I hate to play dishonorably, it's really fun to slag people off. Some of the insults are great, which is again testimony to Mr. Hauser. He did an awesome job. But in the game, yeah, Micah sucks. But Peter Blomqvist did such an amazing job at it. You know, you're supposed to hate him, so you can't help but, in a way, you can't help but admire the character because Peter did such an amazing job at it. As soon as Hosea goes, you know, that's, in my opinion, when Dutch starts to go downhill because Micah fills in that vacuum, and he starts whispering in Dutch's ear. And he's only trying to influence Dutch for his own self-preservation, and so he's trying, obviously, to separate Arthur from Dutch, and you know he poisons Dutch's mind. I do believe that Dutch loves Arthur, yeah, but I also believe that Dutch goes down a very dark and bad path that makes him make a lot of bad choices and bad decisions, and then because at the end of the game, I think Dutch does realize that Mike is the rat. And I think that's one of the reasons why he lets John live and why he decides to shoot Micah, is because he has so much regret that he knows that he made a mistake and he knows that he betrayed one of his best friends who was his, you know, he was the mentor of for 20 years, you know, and he betrayed him in the end and he just left him die. He has so much grief about that. I think that's what makes him become the bad guy that he is in Red Dead Redemption 1. You know, we all make mistakes and we're all misguided, and you know, Dutch has such an ego that he can't allow himself to forgive himself, or at least even come to terms with the mistake that he made. So I think he did love Arthur, and I think Micah poisoned his mind temporarily enough for him to make some really, really bad mistakes, mistakes that he never forgives himself for.
You've been waiting on that brownie for a full year, haven't you? Is it good?
That was on the train. There's probably no internet in here.
Kind of like a cake.
I wasn't sure if there was another air there. Yeah. Hello, I was just going in. You were going in, you were going out.
Alright, we'll be back here then.
Get the phone with the hood and
Wow.
Yes, I agree. Slides on.
Wow.
tell them all about it.
Fab. That's fabulous. Thank you. Oh, yes, I'm talking about you. You're fabulous.
Oh, he's gorgeous. Yes. So real. It's crazy.
It's the eyelashes. It's very unsettling. It's the stubble.
That's crazy. That is class. Hashtag class.
Ew.